Hello and welcome to the Food City Center. I'm Ryan Sylvia. This is Noah Taylor. We are with VolReport.com on the Rivals Network. And Tennessee just hosted a winless Georgia Southern team in Knoxville tonight. Final score is going to be 74-56 in favor of Tennessee. We'll get into why that score was maybe a little bit closer than it should have been. But let's start with the man of the night, Jonas Aidoo, 29 points, a missed free throw away from hitting the 30-point mark, a career high that he set in the first half today. What were your thoughts on his amazing performance today?
Yeah, as you're watching it, I kind of go back to, I think, that North Carolina game when Tennessee, I feel like we've talked about this already, but Tennessee playing those three straight bigs that were preseason All-Americans, and Rick Barnes just touting Jonas. And he kind of had to carry the load by himself because he had Tobe Awaka out during that stretch as well, or for some of that stretch. And Rick Barnes saying, I've told him he could be as good as any of those guys. And really the offense has just moved through him a lot this season so far, 10 games in, and it did tonight. Like you said, that score, it kind of, maybe that second half, which I know we'll get to in a minute, kind of overshadows it a little bit, which is kind of a shame. But Jonas comes out here, he scores the first 10 points for Tennessee. Like you said, finishes with 29. Not only beats that career high, but emphatically beats it. Gets the 29, gets the double-double. I don't know how many double-doubles that is for him already on the season, but gets one tonight with the 11 rebounds. I think what was interesting what Rick Barnes said, and it kind of goes in line with everything else he said, it doesn't have to be 29 points every night from him, but you get around that threshold with the rebounds, that's going to be massive for Tennessee going forward. And you could argue, he's been, and we'll get to this as well, on the offensive end with some guys who maybe were a little bit inconsistent tonight. Jonas has been maybe the most consistent player for this team so far this year. So I think that's a really good sign for Tennessee as you enter the last stretch of non-conference play here, and then in a couple weeks, SEC play.
Big deal for Jonas as well, something that I don't think a lot of people are going to touch on. 0 fouls called against him, which is a big deal for a center in college basketball. You only get 5 here. You see so many times these centers get themselves into foul trouble, have to sit extended periods of time. We saw that in the battle, the Maui Invitational with Tennessee's bigs. Well, tonight, 0 fouls called against him. He's fouled 6 times and put to the line. That's a good ratio. That's what you want to see. So really impressive night from Jonas Aidoo. But as you mentioned, it's overshadowed a little bit because of such a poor second half by Tennessee. Let's jump into the numbers of it a little bit. 49-21 is going to be your halftime score in the favor of the Vols. The second half alone, Tennessee loses it by 10, 35-25. The shooting splits kind of tell the story as well. In the first half, Georgia Southern shoots 16.7% from the field. In Tennessee in the first half, 60% from the field. In the second half, Georgia Southern raises that mark to 35%. Still nothing crazy, but a significant rise. Tennessee shoots 28.6%. It was sloppy. It looked lazy. I don't know if that's the right word, but it just wasn't sharp basketball for those last 20 minutes. And it kind of felt like maybe in the beginning this will be a short stretch and Tennessee will get out of it and end up still winning this game by 40 points. But it just kind of never happened. Tennessee for the last 20 minutes kind of, as the Georgia Southern coach said, took their foot off the gas and let them maybe not get back into the game with the serious threat of winning, but made it look a lot closer and kind of makes everyone that was in this arena tonight leave with a bad taste in their mouth just because of the way that ended. Jonas Aidoo, 29 points, leading scorer. The typical leading scorer for the Vols was pretty silent, though. Dalton Connect, he's going to finish with just 7 tonight. What were your thoughts on him?
Yeah, coming off that Illinois game where he took it over for Tennessee in that second half. And obviously you had a lot of guys contribute in that 10-0 run that really put that game away for them against Illinois. And, he was a big part of that. And you just didn't see that tonight. You didn't really need it tonight, of course, when you're having Jonas play the way that he is. But it was weird to see him come out and have that kind of performance. Tennessee in the second half, I think, just hit the 1 3-pointer, right? It was him.
Yeah, 1 for 12.
Yeah, and it was
in the second half.
And it was Dalton that gets it done there. So it was kind of a weird performance out of him. I think you get 3 scores or 3 players that finish with 7 points. He's one of them. I'm going to just assume this is an off night for him. I think what was his previous low was 10 points
against George Mason. Yes.
And this is kind of a game where you can afford to do that. I think for him and on the perimeter as well. But like you said, it was just kind of a sloppy effort by all the guys, the starters. for Tennessee starting the second half. But yeah, kind of weird to see that out of Dalton Knecht, given what he's been able to do and just the way he played against Illinois on Saturday and really helping Tennessee get that win.
I will say that he got his shots. He had some open looks. They just weren't falling tonight. I don't think it's anything to worry about, like you said. Just kind of one of those games where he just wasn't connecting. But yeah, I think it says a lot that Tennessee has a guy like Jonas Aidoo now and has some other guys on his team like a Josiah-Jordan James or Santiago Vespi or Zakai Ziegler. Even though we haven't really seen it fully from Santi or Zakai at this point, they've shown in the past that they can carry that scoring load as well. So it's good to see that Dalton doesn't need to drop 40 points every game for Tennessee to be successful, even though, as we said, this second half is still another thing that kind of overshadows maybe any good notes. The freshman got to play, though, because of the lopsided score. That was one thing that Barnes made sure to mention a few times, is his least favorite part about that second half is how little he was able to play these young guys. We're going to lump Freddie DeLeon, the fifth, in as well because he's a redshirt freshman, the same age as these true freshmen. Leading the way for me is going to be Cam Carr. He scores just 2 points, but I thought his effort on defense was really sound. He has 2 blocks in the game, comes up with 3 rebounds as well, so he was very impressive to me. But it is going to be Freddie DeLeon leading the way in scoring with 5 points. He shot 2 for 2 on the night, including a made 3-pointer. Those are the 2 guys that stood out to me, the 2 guards. I thought they played really well in their minutes on the floor. Not a lot for any of them. Cade Phillips plays almost 12. That's the most. And then you get 10 from Cameron Carr, 8 for Freddie, and then 3.5 for JP Estrella. The bigs did fine, but I think it was the 2 guards that really did the best from the freshmen, in my opinion, at least. So Tennessee's going to have a couple more out-of-conference games as they prepare for SEC play. But first, a trip to San Antonio to play NC State to continue this really impressive slate of out-of-conference games. Make sure you head to VolReport.com to stay up to date on everything the men's basketball program is doing, everything the women's basketball program is doing, and everything this football team is doing as they prepare to meet Iowa in the Citrus Bowl. We will be in attendance, so head over to VolReport.com to get all the content you need. Links to everything you need is in the description, and thank you for watching.